During pregnancy, the female body goes through so much. The uterus expands to the size of a watermelon. So it comes as no surprise that the body can sometimes have some aches, and it's quite a common complaint. So can you tell me then, what causes body aches during pregnancy?
Okay, Bree, there's a number of things that can cause aches during pregnancy, and I guess I'd like to preempt what I'm speaking about today with the idea that if there's anything that's worrying you that you think is wrong or going wrong or not right, particularly if it involves injury or bleeding or severe pain, you really should go to your doctor or even straight to the hospital. So the things I'm talking about today are more the niggles that can get worse and worse during pregnancy because of the musculoskeletal system changing during the pregnancy. A lot of the changes are really normal. Because let's face it, you can't grow that watermelon unless there are some changes to what's going on in your body. And the changes to the musculoskeletal system are sometimes caused by the change in the centre of gravity as the baby grows forward. They can be caused by the changes in the ligaments. So I've just got my pelvis here to show you, and you can see there's really strong ligaments around the pelvis linking the bones together, and they all get a little bit less rigid during your pregnancy, and of course they need to get less rigid in order to get the baby out of the canal, birth canal, which is part of the vagina. So we need them to get a bit looser. We also carry a lot more water while we're pregnant, and we also we add extra weight. So there's extra weight going through the weight-bearing joints.
We also have relaxin going through our muscles and things like that as well.
That's
so
right.
The first and last trimester.
So the hormones like the relaxin, the hormonal changes, they're affecting all the connective tissue of your body. And sometimes I think that's what people talk about when they talk about that pregnancy glow. So some lucky people have a pregnancy glow, and some others can hardly walk.
Yes, and some of us just look like we've got heat stroke because it's that hot up here, and we've got such a big baby and all that extra blood flow and things like that.
That's right. It helps to time it a little bit. I remember turning myself to the other end of the bed so I could sleep under the fan. With no bedclothes on me at all.
It's definitely something that takes a lot of, effort on your body. People, I think, forget how much effort it does take your body to grow another human being. So tell me, what can physiotherapy do to help? Because obviously there's so many different niggles. I know when I had my little one, he liked to be up in my ribs at one point, and I had a lot of sciatic nerve problems as well, because that extra weight can cause a lot of problems for women.
So I'd like to stand up for a demonstration. So this is my pretend baby.
Oh,
Go
so
type
cute.
hand.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop the baby up my shirt and show you that as the baby grows in front, that's the centre of gravity moving forward. And in order to counteract that, our bodies tend to lean back. And that's when people can have a lot of problems with their back. Okay, even just the holding the baby there all day for someone who isn't strong can cause problems that include back pain. And then as we're moving and we've got this extra weight through, we're transferring the weight from one side to the other. And if there's not good stability, then sometimes you see people moving a little bit like this.
It's called the waddle.
It's the waddle, and it's not good. It's actually not good for you. So it's best to be avoided. And one of the ways in which that can be avoided is to be very mindful of how you move, to know that the waddle and the leaning back is wrong and bad for your body, and to then engage the muscles internally to help give you support. So some of those muscles are the abdominal muscles. And sometimes for people who have that extra arch and that lean back, even just tucking their baby in 0.5 centimetre or 1 centimetre, engaging those tummy muscles can help protect the back. The other part of the weight-bearing joints that can be a problem is the pelvis. That's a common one. And sometimes just using the bum muscles, using the pelvic floor muscles, getting the good posture happening, and so that you've stabilised before you take the step, that can help to avoid the waddle.
And I think it's also, because we've got that relaxing going through our bodies, it's not leaning across the car seat to grab your handbag. And
so you have to be mindful of how you're doing that if you're susceptible to that instability. So you might put your knee up, you might engage the muscles, and then you do the reaching. So it's very dependent on what you need your body to do. Can I hand that back to you?
Sure.
My lovely baby.
Yeah,
Bye, baby.
Goodbye, baby. So what sort of ailments do pregnant women usually get? Because I know for me it was definitely sciatic nerve problems that I had from 6 weeks. It was fun.
So the sciatic nerve problems can be caused by that extra pressure on your back, which I just described. The ligamentous laxities that's causing your pelvis not to be in a good position, and sometimes some muscles can get extra tight around the sciatic nerve to affect it in that way too, to cause pain. So I don't know if you had physiotherapy during your pregnancy.
Yeah, I had a beautiful belt that I wore around my pelvis.
So the belt is, I've talked just recently about the internal support of the muscles, or you can also have external support, and the belt is one of those external supports. I also mention sometimes to people big undies. You can buy big undies that really hug your pelvis in. You can roll them down so they're tight around
type.
So absolutely.
Sexy, especially when you've got a big belly.
They're not sexy at all. There's actually not a lot about pregnancy that's sexy, in spite of those glamour photos
I kind of look
we
like a redback
sometimes see.
spider by the end of it, just these two skinny arms with this big...
Yeah, so. That's funny. That's funny. And so there's the back pain. People sometimes also, and this is a function of the relaxin and the weight gain and the fluid, sometimes have terrible aching feet.
Yes.
Okay, and then they need arch support. Every now and then, sometimes people can have problems with their hands because of the fluid retention, and splinting the hands and gentle exercise for the hands can help too.
So how can physiotherapy help? Because obviously, you guys do a lot of different things.
So we do. So the main thing we want to know at the start is if the problem, the musculoskeletal problem, is causing problems with function. If it means you can't look after your family, or you can't do the work that you need to do, you can't drive where you need to drive, then we've got to work out a plan of attack. And then we would look at ways we can help to support the person, the woman with the pregnant tummy. It's never a man with a pregnant tummy, but the pregnant woman with the internal support system, and maybe some external support, and also some advice on how to move, what to avoid, balancing all that rest with activity, because being totally inactive is bad for all of us.
Yes.
We should all be keeping active. It's part of our keeping chronic disease at bay and taking responsibility for our health. However, sometimes in pregnancy you have to balance that. Now, I'm not talking about really serious pregnancy issues here, like increased blood pressure,
or preeclampsia or something like that.
Or serious morning sickness that keeps people in hospital because they can't actually keep their fluids down.
No.
So I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about those niggles, which if you learn how to deal with them early in the pregnancy, can prevent them from being a problem or a much bigger problem late in the pregnancy. And sometimes the people we're seeing are the ones who've had a problem pregnancy and they feel that little niggle creeping on and they're straight in because they just want to nip it in the bud.
Absolutely. And from someone that had so much pain during their pregnancy, you do need to nip it in the bud really early, because it can just get to the point where, it's just not comfortable.
No. And
not comfortable women that are pregnant, hormonal, it's really not a nice place. It's a recipe for disaster.
A recipe for disaster. That's right.
So it is normal to feel a bit achy during pregnancy, and carrying a baby is no walk in the park. It's, an extra, 10 kilos sometimes out the front there.
Sometimes a lot more, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are having any aches and pains and they're starting to cause you concern, don't hesitate to get in touch with the friendly team at Proactive Physiotherapy today.